Hey guys, welcome back to Think Beautiful, the channel where I talk all about Meghan Markle. And why is she laughing? She's the turkey. What an absolute turkey. She has posted a reel today and she has done the dumbest thing apart from the actual content of the reel, which is always basic, but it doesn't teach you anything. She is legit a turkey. She even looks like one in this photo here. That color just looks like a turkey skin. Look at that. So let's take a look at this reel because a couple of things I want to say about this. Now, first of all, she has all of her jewelry on. It is absolutely disgusting. You might as well not even wash your hands. It's the same thing. So, first of all, there's that. Second of all, she doesn't teach us a thing. You wouldn't know what to do. I don't know what spices she used. I mean, as if I'm going to use the same spices as her anyway, let's be honest. But she should at least be teaching people what to do. I know she has no idea, but maybe her fans don't and they want to copy her. Who knows? Someone is looking at her for inspiration. Now, using a turkey like that, it's not a great look anyway. So, I don't know, she could have at least lined up the camera better. But the big problem, I think, is the background because she only had one job, and that was to film a basic reel. There was no audio. I mean, it was just a turkey song, something from Bob Dylan, just because it says the word turkey. So all she had to do was press record. And she couldn't even do that because look at this. There is someone in the background. Now, I've had a look at this. I really don't think that is Harry. Take a look at the slow-mo. You see them through the window, and I'm guessing that is the hired help. I feel like that's the gardener or something. Someone that Meghan pretends doesn't actually help her, but clearly does. I reckon he's maintaining the gardens. They have so many roses. They have a whole white rose garden if you haven't watched one of my videos, which tells you all about their home. And then he, of course, has to maintain that big grass area where Meghan is always dragging Lily all the time. That thing needs to be mowed. So this guy is probably doing a lot more work than Harry around the house. But let me know your thoughts. Is that Harry? I just don't think it is, but it is very, very sloppy indeed. He should not have been in the shot. I mean, I almost feel like she does this on purpose. Maybe she wants us to speculate on who that is. Maybe he's the father of Lily. I don't know. Just putting it out there. I mean, you tell me. But of course, as well as this being a real turkey of a reel, she's posted this way too late because she's posted this on the 25th of November. Okay, she just posted it today. And we already have something like this, but much, much better from, you guessed it, a killer, like 2 days earlier. She's way too late. So in this reel, a killer is actually doing things in the order that you should be doing them, basically in real time. So today, or 2 days ago, she's saying you should be making your stock today. Here's how I do it. A full tutorial tells you what to put in it. She's talking. She's actually explaining what's happening. This is how you do it. Meghan, why is it so hard? She makes the most basic things look incredibly difficult. So, a bit of appreciation for Akila. Again, you guys know I love Akila. I could watch her all day. Even, like I said, watching like a raw turkey or whatever, it doesn't look great. But she, of course, gets into it. And by the time you finish, you're like, I should actually make that. I could do that. She almost makes like a turkey soup at the end. It's amazing. Love Akila. But let's also take a look at something else because, as we all know, Meghan gets people to introduce herself into a room. And the best thing about this article is it has a go at Meghan for doing this. They bring in an expert and explain what royal protocol should actually involve. And it shows that Meghan is wrong in what she does. And of course, it's in Harper's Bazaar, which is the publication which just featured all of her photos, which are awful. So let's have a look at this, shall we? Because this is a very interesting turn of events. Wouldn't you know it? The internet is talking about Meghan Sussex again. That at least is nothing new. But this time, it's not for something she said, but for something someone else said as she entered a room. At her request, I'm sure, by the way. In Harper's Bazaar's cover story of Meghan, on two separate instances, she is announced as the Duchess of Sussex as she enters a space. The first is at the La Brea Tar Pits in Los Angeles, where she arrives via golf cart, how pretentious, to meet a group of girls who are 11 and 12, by the way, from a local STEM academy. So just to catch you up, because I heard that. I mean, I obviously read the article, but it didn't stand out to me. So this is what it said. A golf cart pulls up, the gravel crunching beneath its tires. The Duchess of Sussex, someone in the scrum announces. Now, I just thought that was one of the kids. They suddenly saw who it was and they said her name. But it sounds like someone was planted there to announce her. How cringe is that? Now, the second time in the article is across the country in a New York City brownstone, which we now all know belongs to Victoria Jackson, her little sugar mama, where the house manager announces Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. I can't say that without laughing, honestly, even though, as the cover story details, that this magazine actually printed and approved, Meghan and the writer of the piece, who works for you, appear to be the only other two people in the house. Completely over the top. Doesn't get more narcissistic than that. Now, this expert that they brought in, this is what they have told us. She's choosing the more formal route, which is a matter of personal preference. Okay, so she can do this. It's very formal, but it sounds like it's her preference. This is her choice, which is the point, but it is her choice. And so, for whatever reason, this is how she feels the most comfortable being introduced. Now, I don't think it's about being comfortable. I think it is about feeling better than everyone else, which I think is a huge problem when you're talking about children. Imagine a grown woman, okay, mid-40s, let's just say, and she has to feel better than these girls who are 11 and 12. That is really crazy. Now, I've heard her do something like this before, where she tells a girl that she's a princess, she lets them curtsy to her and all of that. She clearly wants to be idolized by young girls. That's my feeling on this. She wants them to look up to her and to want to be like her. And I think that makes sense because she always talks about the 15-year-old girls, these imaginary girls that want to buy her jam. So that's what I think she's going for. She wants to inspire young girls. It's not working. She's been trying a very long time and still hasn't achieved it. I think it's actually sad at this point. Anyway, this is what she wants to do, and she's apparently allowed to do it. If they have the title, the expert says, they are able to use it. It is their title. Okay, great. It's comparable to a doctor choosing to use their title or not to use it. Whether you're a prime minister, a president, or a duchess or princess, it is up to you how you would like to be introduced and how you would like to introduce yourself. Okay, that's fine. You would probably tone it down, but we're talking about Meghan here. How are other members of the royal family introduced when they walk into rooms? So this is basically the litmus test. What are other people doing? Okay, you can do whatever you want, but what does a rational person do? A normal, down-to-earth person. Okay, so someone like Prince William, she says, he often introduces himself as he walks into a room as opposed to someone else introducing him. Okay, so he just does it himself. He goes up to everyone and introduces himself. And he prefers to simply be called William rather than the Prince of Wales when it is a one-to-one meeting, which is what Meghan was doing, or a smaller gathering. Now, if he's being introduced at a state banquet or something like that, it's a whole other ballgame. Of course it is. That makes sense. So that's what they have seen in recent years from the younger modern royals. Now, I thought Meghan wanted to modernize the monarchy. I thought she was young and modern. Seems to be she's gone the stuffy route, basically has a carrot up her you know what. But as the expert says, anyone with a title is entitled to use it. So she hasn't done anything wrong. So far, we haven't really learned anything from this expert. She's just saying it's her title. She can do what she wants. Other people don't tend to do this, but she can do whatever the heck she likes. It's her thing. That said, while the use of her title passes the protocol test from an etiquette perspective, the expert points out that it's actually backwards. In the specific case of the brownstone scenario, the guest should be announced, not the person the guest is coming to see. So she actually has made a mistake. Finally, this expert gets around to the point, what we are trying to get to, and she says, yes, it is actually backwards. Because interestingly, the correct etiquette would have been to announce the journalist. Now, there's no way Meghan ever would have wanted that. She has to be the most important person in the room, even if there are only two people. So there's no thick book of royal protocol sitting somewhere in Buckingham Palace. Every situation is treated as a one-off, though she adds that in the royal household, everything is very planned and orchestrated. Now, this is what I found really interesting because it says here there's no etiquette handbook, there's no protocol handbook. Each royal is trusted to act and represent their title with respect and to do the best that they know to do. And I think each royal is left trusted to do that in their own way. Now, that's where this whole thing falls apart because this one here cannot be trusted to use her title properly. We have seen her constantly using it on all of her commercial ventures. It's all grey areas with Meghan, and now she's announcing and flaunting her title everywhere she goes. She uses HRH on a hamper for ice cream. She cannot be trusted. And I believe there should be a protocol. There should be a handbook. I'll write the handbook. For goodness sakes, there has to be a procedure for this. You cannot just hope that people are going to do the right thing. How has this been going on for so long? And suddenly this one marries into the family and just abuses the title, because that's what I think it is. Anyway, I just had to tell you that she has done it backwards. It is wrong, and she is a complete turkey. Now, another interesting thing I found today was Oprah Winfrey. So Oprah has put up on her Instagram that she's hearing there are a lot of grown adults who are going no contact with their family, completely cutting their family off. So she's had a friend and they've spoken to her about it, and she's now understanding it's a very common thing, allegedly. I mean, I don't know much about this, but apparently in the US, I don't know, tell me if you've heard about this, it's a thing. Now she's going to be doing a podcast on it. She's going to be talking about it. And I wonder who should be her first guest. Now, I don't know who she's having on the show. Probably no one special. But I have a great person in mind, Oprah. I know someone who cuts off her family very, very easily, very quickly. A person that could tell you all about it. How about this woman here? Meghan would be perfect. If I ever saw a podcast perfect for Meghan, it was this one here. And she can talk about her jams, and we can find out if you actually did get the spoon and go right in there, Oprah, because no one actually believes that either. But guys, thank you so much for listening. A little bit of information for you today. Meghan Markle is a turkey. We all knew this already, but now we have actual proof. So please like and subscribe, and I will keep these videos coming. Thank you guys. Bye.